All right, so the time has finally come. We're about a week away from the early access release date of Road to Vostok, and I just want to take this time to talk about the game a little bit, what the demo's like, and what we're going to expect in the early access and in future updates. So, just in case if you haven't heard of Road to Vostok, let me just briefly summarize. Road to Vostok is a hardcore single player survival FPS that puts a strong focus on the hardcore survival aspect where you go around, scavenge, fight, and make high stakes decisions while pushing through increasingly dangerous border zones towards the region of Vostok. So basically, you just go around collecting items, trade them in, and get better gear so you can move into the deeper, dangerous zones and get better gear, and so on and so forth. So the intent is really to motivate the player to want to move deeper into the zones so they can find better things, possibly do other things, activities, and things of that such. So you kind of go around risking valuable gear, deciding whether or not to push deeper in or to extract back to your safe house. It's really one of the many thrills and draws to the game, and knowing that one mistake can cost you everything is a big factor in it all. So really, it creates this intense, harsh immersion environment type thing that really centers on player strategy and player driven storyline. And all those elements sound really great for the game, but there are a few drawbacks and a few cons about the gameplay that I would like to address. But I just want to say that I know upon early access release, the game will have about 8+ months development that's going to unleash on top of the early access, but I just want to touch upon my experiences in the demo and offer my opinions to the consumer and to really just give a voice to what someone might be experiencing in the game. So, to really start off my experience, the most part has been really fun. The scope of the game definitely appeals to the extraction shooter, stalker, type of person. I mean, it really does scratch that itch that a lot of people are left with or that didn't really feel satisfied after games like say Tarkov or Arc Raiders. I mean, but really it's for someone who just kind of wants to have more of a chilled experience of that and not really worry so much about other sweats that want to try to play the game every second of the day, or say a toxic community that wants to use and abuse the system, making the game unfair and unbalanced for the majority of people. But let's look at the demo and talk about the gameplay a little bit. It only really has 3 playable zones: the starter village, which really houses your safe house, the minefield, and the apartment, which is the permadeath zone, where if you die in that area, you lose everything, your save, like completely everything, and you have to start over. But people who follow this game pretty much know that. So you pretty much start out with nothing. You kind of go around scavenging low tier loot. You will eventually find a friendly trader in one of the buildings who sells random loot, including like meds and ammo. So generally, you find yourself running around collecting the low tier items to trade for even low items. And you do that up until you kind of gear yourself up to kind of go and tackle the other zones. So once you actually do that, the next zone that you're able to go to is the minefield. So it's kind of obvious why it's called the minefield. It's really housing a bunch of mines scattered throughout the area, making the player kind of have to focus on their surroundings as well as other dangerous things going on in the area. So it's a pretty interesting thing going on, but you really have to be conscious about like the whole area and how you're going to make your pathing. And after that is the apartments. So I mean, really, this is the most hardest zone and really the most. It holds most of the go loot, and it's really going to draw a lot of the players' attention to this area. But you kind of have to take a little bit of time to get to this zone. You have to transition through that and do all this stuff, and it can be kind of difficult if you're not really prepped enough. So it's a very interesting and a very fun type of thing. It's very time consuming to say the least, too, trying to make your way to gear up and get all the way down there. It definitely takes a lot of time and preparation and strategy to incorporate what you should do in order to make your moves and your things valuable and meaningful. So, I mean, really, all of this sounds like a solid foundation for the game, honestly, but the experience really starts to fall apart when you look at the AI. I mean, they aren't inherently bad, but they exhibit a lot of the same negative traits you would find in other poorly optimized AIs. Kind of where they walk around aimlessly in random directions, like their pathing is a little messed up, or it's not exactly that finely tuned. I mean, their accuracy can be a little dicey at times. They can be a little aimbotty, you know. I've been finding myself getting shot in the head, getting shot once or twice, or getting some sort of damage and almost immediately getting tacked on with a negative trait that needs a pretty moderately rare medical equipment in order to actually stop that negative trait. So, I mean, I find myself trying to find a lot of these things, you know, in order to survive. And it almost kind of makes you in the back of your head think that the future engagements and everything else are going to be less fun, because every engagement you're going to realize that you're going to need to use medical supplies or some type of thing. If you're not extremely 100,000% careful and you don't get the first shot off immediately, you will take some damage to some form. And it just kind of makes you have to grind even more and stock up more on even more difficult, and I mean more rare medical items. So it can be a little bit grindy in that aspect. But I would say um, the part about the real aspect about the game that bothers me the most is really the lack of anything to do. Again, I know it's the demo, and there's, you know, future plans and all, but when it comes to the tasks, um, it's really just more of the same thing. I mean, there's only real two things to do in the demo currently. You really just go around and loot, or you can go to the trader and take on tasks which really require you to go around and loot more specific loot, and then bring back that loot to the guy, and then you could sell that loot to get more loot that you want. So it's, in my opinion, more or less a redundant kind of system. It's more or less the same. I think tasks are a poor feature that have been attached to extraction shooters in general, and they should honestly die off as a trend. But because I don't know, they really offer no real incentive for the game, and I feel like a lot of developers with extraction shooters kind of use it as a crutch to not really implement real content within the game. But I do know that this game does have a scope for trying to implement some sort of activity or plan events or things like that. So I'm not really too worried about that. But I have to say, another little gripe I have is the minefield. It's an interesting zone. There's not a lot of stuff going on in the minefield. It seems to be more of a transition than anything else. I would kind of want to see. This is kind of just going back to the things that I want to see occur more into the game. Like, I want to see more events going on. I want to be able to have things draw my attention, essentially, because for now, really, the main strategy when it comes to the minefield is to literally walk around the border all the way until you get to the other transition zone and just do that. So that's what a lot of people in the community and a lot of people I've seen do in order to get through that whole area, and it kind of makes that whole area useless. It gives no reason, it gives no, you know, no purpose to it. So I would like to see more things kind of added, and I just kind of want to see what they're going to do with this aspect of the game as well, because for now there's really nothing really unique about each zone. They just kind of have placeholder names for things. It's not like they're anything noticeable with what's going on. But again, I don't want to keep going back to saying it's a demo, but I understand that there's more to come. I want to reiterate that all these issues and pains of mine could have been fixed and be fixed upon the early access release, but I just felt the need to voice all these issues because I believe the game has a great potential on finding itself in the many shelves of gamers, but I believe it needs to take the right necessary steps in order to do so. And there's a lot of stuff to fix, and there's a lot of high expectations going on with this game. And I know it's an early development and it's a slow grind to getting these things fixed. But I'm hopeful that the early access release will begin to replace some of these placeholder systems with in-depth systems, and really has all that stuff that a hardcore survivalist gamer craves. So really we will just have to see how the state of the game is on the release date of April 7th, 2016. So if you guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this, and if you guys want to check out my channel later on from when this thing releases, I will upload a future video commenting on what I really am expecting, and really in seeing if they really lived up to all those expectations. So thank you guys for watching, and see you later.